Hey everyone, and welcome to The Game Code. I am Stephanie Pelley, your humble host, and you're watching Atlantic Canada's one and only video game show. We like to bring you all the latest news from the video game industry, and we're especially excited when we get to feature the happenings of the local industry here as well. Coming up in this episode, we've got the musical stylings from the Cartridge Family. Hailing from St. John's, Newfoundland, these buys are turning your favorite video game anthems into epic rock songs. Video game fans are no strangers to a good joke. With April 1st now upon us, we take a look at the top 5 video game April Fool's Day pranks. Have you ever wanted to live out your Call of Duty dreams in real life? We've got the perfect place at Alpha Strike Laser Tag and Arcade. And finally, if you like your hack and slash games with a heavy side of demon hunting, Ian checks out the latest reboot in the Devil May Cry series, DMC. Now, we all know that video games and music are one of those perfect combinations like chocolate and peanut butter, or Newfoundland and raw, unbridled talent. And that's exactly where we went to meet up with the Cartridge Family.
Hi, my name is Leon and I play lead guitar.
I'm Jordan Young and I play lead bass guitar.
And my name is Dave Walsh and I also play lead guitar with the Cartridge Family.
I always wanted to start a group like this ever since I played Ocarina of Time, and I would twiddle around and play it on the guitar. And then a couple years back I mentioned it to Dave. I said, Dave, man, let's get together. Dave used to, Dave, singer-songwriter, plays acoustic sets all the time, and he used to sneak in little Mario ditties and everything into his set. And I said, well, man, I got to come over and we got to play this stuff. And then we played for a while, and Jordan got in the mix because Jordan's awesome. And yeah.
Yeah, I used to play in an instrumental kind of surf rock band called the Cyanides, and we did a few tunes from the Mega Man 2 soundtrack and a couple of, because we were all instrumental bands, so we were already doing some of the video game stuff. So that was kind of got me swooped into it.
I think the hardest part for us was getting a drummer. We tried out 4 different drummers until we finally arrived at Mike Din, who unfortunately couldn't be here. But let's just bring up a photo of Mike.
Can we get a close-up?
It's a very sexy photo if we can get a close-up of Mike here. This is Mike Din, our drummer. He's very sexy. He likes the Pittsburgh Penguins. I believe he has a Christian Mingle profile. I think we like it because it's challenging. What do you think?
Yeah.
It's super fun. I mean, God.
It's Super Mario.
That's
what it is.
I think all of us are pretty big guitar nuts, and I mean we like anything that's a challenge. We're all fans of Frank Zappa and Led Zeppelin. Jimmy, like the guitar greats, and I think that's kind of what brought us together and being attracted to the video game music. Part of the fact that we all love video games so much is that, I mean, this stuff was written for computer synthesizers. I mean, some of it just doesn't make sense when you got 6 strings or 4 strings and 4 fingers and a pick at your disposal. So that was, I think, kind of what we dug about it. Was like, wow, we're so good at playing guitar, and then we try this. It's like, oh, we still got a few things to learn.
Sometimes we have to stop because we have hand cramps. And so I think it was you who said it in
another interview.
In another interview, it was microprocessors don't get hand cramps.
what makes us unique is certainly the geography. There's other people doing this kind of thing. I mean, if you search YouTube, you'll find 7 or 8 really good bands, similar configuration, you know, 2 guitars, a bass, and drums, you know, your standard rock setup, doing the old video game music. But we're the only ones doing it this side of Moncton or Montreal right now that's active. So. You know, that's kind of cool, the isolation factor. You know, I'm really proud of our arrangements. You know, I think the musicianship, you know, to brag a little in the band is, you know, it's worth coming to see. You know, we've been billed a bunch of times with, you know, other kind of metalhead bands that are pretty guitar heavy, and you know, you've always got that line of guys right in front of the stage with the horns up, rocking out.
It's like I said it before, it's like a comic book, and we've got an endless amount of stories, you know, and we've got an endless amount of music that we can pick and choose from. We can go back to early days, to, you know, Commodore 64 if we really wanted to, and you could come and do something as early as, you know, like you said, these iPhone games and everything like that, like Angry Birds or you know, Call of Duty, for instance. The music now is, I mean, it's orchestral. Like there's some that we probably wouldn't even be able to get close to doing because there's just too many parts. And that's part of the fun of it too, is putting the arrangement together and making it work and making it something different and making it. The best part is when somebody listens to it and they're like, I know this, but I can't quite put my finger on it. You know, what is that and why do I know that?
The older stuff from the 80s, I mean, we're big on the, you know, the 8-bit, the NES system and the old Genesis. The composers were limited by the technology. Like, they only had 30 seconds or a minute to compose a song, and that was going to be looped hundreds of times as you played all the boards and beat the game. So it had to be catchy, or the game would be crappy. People wouldn't want to play it. And, you know, because of that force of repetition and some of those really popular games, I mean, everybody seemed to have them when they were kids, so you've got this massive, like, collective memory.
My girlfriend and her friends will come down to the show, and they're not by any means, you know, self-proclaimed avid gamers, and they barely recognized any of the songs we played, but they were still all out dancing and having a great time, and I think it's kind of intrigued them and wanted. They're more interested now when I tell them what I'm learning and what I'm playing on guitar. You know, they don't go, "Why are you learning that? That's so silly." I'd have to say my favorite tune that I like to play is probably the third one that we do in our Castlevania medley, which is Wicked Child. And it's really fast and upbeat, and Mike just really goes to town on the drums in it, and it always gets me amped up. I think we play it really, really well.
Sweet harmonies.
Yeah, it's a great guitar harmonies.
Mario or Mega Man 3 intro, definitely.
The first level of Contra, I think it's called the Jungle Theme. It's just an astounding piece of guitar work, and it's got a real wow factor. And you know, after we're done playing, you just you need to breathe and go, "Oh God, I can't believe we just played all those notes in a minute and a half." My goal, which is also my dream, was just to play with Leon long enough to be able to learn how to play guitar as well as Leon does. I always like playing with other people to be inspired, so I got loads to learn from Leon.
The opera from Final Fantasy III, I mean, if we could pull something like that off, that would be amazing. That would be a huge production in itself. One of my goals was for the band was to get a show at the Rock House and do a great successful show, which we did, and we're going to do that again on Friday, April 5th, down at the Rock House, St. John's, Newfoundland. Come down.
I think to probably get a good, like a few recordings done of like a full game soundtrack. I think that's something we've been talking about. Like, I'd really like to do Donkey Kong Country, Majora's Mask, just do a full soundtrack and have a nice production on it. And, maybe do a little tour, promote it, that's my dream. MagFest would be pretty sweet too.
Yeah, playing a Comic-Con or something like that, or some sort of conference, any kind of con would be amazing. So if there's anybody out there watching this that's looking for some music for their con, look us up.
So awesome to get to spend some time in Newfoundland. Now, April Fool's Day is upon us, and if you're a video game fan, this might just be the worst day of the year for you. This is because every year, major players in the industry and fans alike attempt to, and pardon the pun, one-up each other with elaborate, ridiculous, and oftentimes heartbreaking hoaxes. We're breaking down the top 5 greatest pranks for you right now. Kicking things off at number 5, who can forget just last year when a site people believed to be Valve's Steam store announced the release of the elusive Half-Life 3. Fans of the series have been gnawing at the bit for years for any hint of the game's 3rd installment from Valve. So needless to say, this pissed fans off pretty good, as the link claiming it was now available showed only a crudely drawn head of Valve co-founder Gabe Newell. What made things worse is that the prank was wrongfully credited to Valve itself, and many still believe they're still the ones behind it. Coming in at number 4, and what may be one of the earliest and most anger-inducing gaming hoaxes, is credited to the industry publication Electronic Gaming Monthly. Back in 1992, EGM fabricated a method for unlocking a special character in Street Fighter II named Shenlong. Unfortunately for fans of the series, getting to fight Shenlong involved an arduous process which included not letting Ryu take any damage throughout the entire game. Worldwide media picked up the story without getting any kind of confirmation from Capcom, and for months players of the game attempted the method unsuccessfully. It wasn't until 7 months later when EGM admitted to the falsehood, and the legend of Shenlong is now a landmark of Street Fighter history. Now, not all April Fool's Day hoaxes allow the industry to toy with their fans. Sometimes some of the fans get in on the action as well. And this was the case when a video went viral in 2012 showing off a new version of Assassin's Creed for Xbox Kinect. At number 3 on our list, this parody trailer deceitfully showed off the various motion technology abilities of the bogus game. But the athletic acrobatics demonstrated by the trailer's hired actors give the prank away about a minute in, and a hilarious disclaimer statement at the end lets you know you've been had, if you hadn't realized it up until this point. Coming in at number 2 is a super cool move by Google last year. Users of the #1 search engine in the world would find that Google Maps had been transformed into an 8-bit virtual world in an apparent upgrade? Now, this was said to be an homage to the original Nintendo game Dragon Quest. Not only was the entire global span of Google Maps rendered in a pixelated paradise, but Google also hid various Easter eggs within the map, such as hidden enemies from the video game series. They also released a video announcing the debut of 8-bit Google Maps as a playable cartridge. Google pulled out all the stops for this one. And finally, the #1 April Fool's Day video game hoax. I remember falling for this one back in 2008. It was when IGN announced that they had been approached to premiere footage from a supposed live-action Legend of Zelda movie. This set the internet on fire as it went viral. The video was viewed over 2.5 million times in 24 hours and became the 4th most Googled term in the world. Fans were ecstatic, mostly because the footage shown was actually really good and made people just want to see more. That is until IGN owned up to the prank, so it's not looking like we're seeing a live-action Zelda movie anytime soon. But our recommendation for this and all future April Fool's Days: play it safe, don't believe everything you read, don't believe anything you read, avoid the heartbreak. There's a pro tip.
Firefighters, RCMP, we've had local businesses, we've had the local gaming stores have come in, we get a bit of everything.